All right, today we're going to be talking about goal setting. Most importantly, the 4 steps that we try to help with when helping members or even non-members kind of set goals and come up with what is the goal. So we're going to start off that. So first and foremost, what is your goal? Why that goal means something to you, or why do you want to accomplish it? How you're going to achieve that, whether that be through progression or coming up with some type of system for yourself, and then when are you going to accomplish this, or when are you going to put in the time and the effort to accomplish this goal. So those are going to be the 4 areas that we look into a little bit more. We're going to start things off with, what is your goal? All right, so what is your goal is going to be the first question. I think here it's going to, motherfucker. To start things off, we're going to first talk about what is your goal, or what are your goals. A great way to think about this is putting everything down on a sheet of paper or your phone or whatever you need to do is coming up with a list of things that you are either not good at or have wanted in the past. So maybe it's, I want to work on kipping pull-ups or work on those muscle-up transitions. It could be I want to get a faster row time, or lose 5 pounds, or gain 10 pounds. It doesn't really matter what it is. We're just looking for a list of things that you think you want. And that's going to be where we start. So once we have that big list of everything, we're going to find some commonality in there. So we're going to look for things that kind of pair well, or just kind of keep reintroducing themselves. If it's handstand push-ups, kipping pull-ups, if it's dangling from the bar, if it's burpees, we might look at things that are more body weight focused, like maybe it is weight loss, or maybe it is a gymnastics routine. Figuring out what's going to be the main culprit holding you back, and that's what we're gonna target. So we're going to specify what we're looking for out of this goal. So we're going to go from this huge mess of just randomness to something that looks nice and clean for maybe 1, 2, or at max 3 different areas that you want to focus on for our goal or goal setting. So something complicated into something simple, that's what we're looking for. So at this point in the process of goal setting, I think this is one of the most important pieces, is asking yourself, why is this important? And more specifically, why is this important to you? A lot of us have goals that are more surface level, where it's like, I want to lose 10 pounds, or I want to be able to do kipping pull-up. And it's for other different reasons as opposed to what actually matters inside. So with that in mind, to make sure that you're doing something for you instead of someone else, is even questioning this even further. So asking yourself the question, why is this important to you, is a huge stepping stone in figuring out what this goal is and how we're going to accomplish it in the next step. So a few practices that we can do with the why is this important to you is asking yourself 3 whys. What we're looking for is to dilute the subject at hand down to a very personal level, because as soon as this means something to you, it's much easier to accomplish. So asking yourself the 3 whys starts to get us a little bit more of an emotional level instead of the surface level. Why do you want to do 10 push-ups? Right? I want better upper body strength. All right, why do you want upper body strength? Because it makes me feel confident. Right? Why do you want to feel confident? Because I walk around slunched over all the time and I'm getting depressed. Right? So right there we can start talking about why this is so important to you, that just by standing up a little bit straighter or working on some upper body strength, you're going to see some positive life changes. Okay? So one of the next projects, or the next one of the next practices that we use is coming up with a list. I'm calling it a list of 100 because that's what's worked for me. As you start listing out the reasons why this goal is important to you, your critical thinking starts skyrocketing. You find out different areas of opportunity within your goal, whether it may be lower body development, or might be learning a new skill, or seeking out a coach or something, or coming up with accountability buddies. You're going to start having a list of reasons why you're going to do this, and also how you're going to do it. So it kind of solves 2 problems at once. But if your list can only go down to 5 or 10 and you start getting stonewalled, you might have to regroup and come back to the first steps and figure out what your goal is and if it actually means something to you. So this is very much a place of discovery, and this whole first half of goal setting is just that. Discovering what is going to be the most impactful focus for you over the next 50 days or 100 days or however long you want this project to last. right? So now that we have figured out what our goal is, why this is important to us, the next step is going to be how are you going to accomplish this goal? Using the similar practices that we use in the first two steps is going to only just benefit us for part 3 here, which is going to be doing a few things. We're going to come up with a list of how do I become successful. I think one of the biggest things is just trying to find out what other people have done to succeed what works for me might not necessarily work for you, but it might stir up some thoughts, some critical thinking. So having that in mind is going to be huge. I'm just rambling right now. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. When asking yourself the question, how are you going to accomplish this goal? I want you to think of the 3 basic principles. One's going to be education, right? So this is going to be using search engines like Google or YouTube, maybe having to sit down with a coach or a mediator and asking some of those hard questions on what you can do or what best practices are around there. Figuring out what your progressions are. Again, there's multiple resources online, the coach's staff, even through your data collection through SugarWOD or a journal that you might have. Figuring out some of the things that you've tried before that you liked, or maybe even removing some of those things that you found not helpful. And then lastly, having something that's going to keep you accountable. Some people have no problem with personal accountability, showing up on time, doing what you're told to do. That's great. Some people need a buddy, just someone to text you in the morning like, get up. You know, that helps. As well as that group setting. So we do a lot of things in that team environment with classes, and that's why we have the No Bread Challenge broken up into goal-based groups, so that you guys can talk about similar things, whether it be weightlifting or weight loss or weight gain or whatever it may be. So keep those things in mind and keeping it simple. Coming up with a list of reasons why for each one of these things is huge. The more effort that you put into surrounding yourself with why this goal is important to you and how you're going to accomplish it, it's making this fail-safe plan for yourself. Right? Don't make it too complicated at the end. One of the things that we preach is also a balance between rest and recovery. I don't know why we're talking about this. I'm going to write some other stuff down on the board. So we've made it to the final step. First, we asked ourselves the question, what is your goal? Right? We've made this mess into a list of things that we care about. We've taken that list, we broke it down to why, made it a personal statement or a personal mission to accomplish this thing. We've educated ourselves, we figured out a progression, we found some type of level of accountability, whether it be personal, small group, or in that large group format. The last thing that we have to do is execute this thing, asking yourself the question of when. When are you going to do this? When are you going to apply yourself? Coming up with a game plan, either in a calendar and coming up with the set days that you're going to work on this thing is going to be huge, right? We have a timeline set up for you for the course of No Bread, which is October 1st through November 19th. However, this is going to be applied to any length of time that you need. Sometimes your goals are beyond that short time frame. Other times you can accomplish those goals within a week, okay? What's important here is understand that once you've executed your goal, that there needs to be another level of evaluation. Right? You could call this the 5th step, but really what we're looking for is how well are you progressing through this, right? Do you need to go take a step back and figure out maybe a little bit more about what's going on, maybe figure out a little bit harder execution, and then questioning your accountability, right? We can even go back in terms of if you feel like you're losing focus on the execution part, well, why is this important to you? Maybe things have shifted over the course of a couple of days. Things happen. I think a lot of people have issues with when their goals start to fail that they think themselves are failing, but really if you've gone through this process, it's just practice. So you can always adjust back here and then go through the same work in order to accomplish the next goal. When coming up with a game plan or how you're going to execute this workout, there needs to be a level of timeliness that gets pulled into here. So that could be, I'm going to work on this 2 or 3 days a week. All right, for the next 5 weeks, and I'm going to reevaluate the whole course. Setting yourself up for little benchmarks along the way are going to help you not only execute, but then also work back. Are my progressions working? All right, are the reasons still there for why I'm doing this? And it still is this the main goal. You might get halfway through and say, you know what, my goal is shifted or pivoted in one way or another, and then making sure that it still falls in line with the track that you're on. These are the basic principles that we use here at the gym to help with goal setting. This is a brief overview of goal setting. There's plenty of workshops that you can do. Our resource to you is on the No Bread Challenge page of the website. So www.crossfitcrack.com/No Bread Challenge, right? Or you just go to CrossFitCrack.com and you'll see NBC in the drop-down menu. There you'll find a goal setting worksheet that has this and some of the basic questions that we like to ask people to help them with their progression to it. So you can either print it off on the paper, or you can just kind of copy it down in your own journal. Right? But data collection is key. Educate yourself is one of the most important things here. The more that you understand, the easier it is to execute your plan. So enjoy yourself. Always reevaluate and ask for help.